There are so many factors that go into a successful campaign, especially you want that big momentum when the final days approach. And it seems as if momentum is on Trump's side right now. But let's bring in Ike Wingate, the host of the Ike Wingate Show, and Democratic strategist Theryn Bond. Theryn, sorry I screwed up your last name. You've been on plenty of times. I never should do that. So let me start with you, Theryn. Who do you think is in a better position to win right now as we head into the final days?
I think before all the events and rhetoric tossing around this entire week, I thought it was going to be former President Donald Trump, to be honest with you. But now I don't know. There's so much mudslinging in this last final inning stretch from both candidates and surrogates and people around them. I don't know. I think this is going to be one to watch all the way to the finish. And I honestly don't think we're going to have the results on election night. I think it may be a delay in us finding out the winner.
No, you might be very right. So, Ike, Joe Biden saying out loud, what the elites kind of think, right, with the disparaging remarks about Trump supporters as garbage. Obviously a terrible mistake, and it charged up supporters even more. But this is kind of typical of where the Democrats have been with regard to the rhetoric, sort of the anger, the fascism, all this nonsense.
Yeah, the deplorables 2.0 kind of comment, and not really a very good week for Kamala Harris when it comes to unforced errors. You had Joe Biden making that statement, then they tried to walk it back, explained it again over and over. Even had the stenographers at the White House, stenographer on stenographer violence almost, with trying to vie for the actual real words that were said and no apostrophe. So you have that. You have Mark Cuban calling women basically stupid that are supporting Donald Trump. Just a lot of unforced errors. It's really odd with this campaign. It's almost like as soon as they get a little momentum or things going right, it's like they turn a corner and they find kryptonite. So it shows you, I just don't think they're disciplined enough. They're loose, and they have people like Cardi B on stage endorsing Kamala Harris last night. It's just it's such a contrast. You got to look at what the campaigns are doing, how they're behaving, and Donald Trump looks very confident right now.
So Kamala Harris's closing pitch is just totally vilifying Donald Trump, right, and scaring women about abortion. Do you think that that's the right strategy, Theryn? Or, I mean, the spotlight has not been on her. It's not about what she wants to do. It's all about going after Trump, which maybe is the right thing. I don't know.
I'm a big proponent of opposition research, and I think there's a time and a place for that. But I think when there are so many millions of votes left out there that can be picked up on election day, it would have better suited her to talk about herself, to re-energize voters and talk to them about issues that matter most to them and are closest to their hearts and households. And I don't think she's really done that. I think she's become very repetitive and comfortable in her, I guess, chastisement of sorts for former President Donald Trump. But he does enough on his own where if she was never to say anything, he would put his own foot in his mouth. So she doesn't need to do it for him. And if we look at how she's running the end of her campaign, I don't know if it's enough to get her the win on election day. And there's just not much time left. But I think if former President Donald Trump continues to suggest things like Liz Cheney should essentially be at the other end of 9 barrels pointing at her.
No, but let me clarify that. Let me clarify that. That is not what he said. I mean, if you read the rest of the sentence, the next part of it, it said, because she wants to always send our sons and daughters to war, she needs to know what it's like to be in war and have those guns at you and not be in a comfortable building in Washington, D.C. No, but the point is very different than what they're trying to make it out to be. That was the point I'm trying to make. He never advocated for her to be executed or anything. It's just they've gone DEFCON 5 on this, and it's ridiculous.
But to suggest that anybody should be at the opposite end of a gun, period, is wrong, especially when he's had a number of assassination attempts. It's wrong.
Exactly, but that's what he's saying. If you want to send people into war, you need to know the serious consequences of this and not just make this decision from some comfy building in D.C. That's what he was saying.
Isn't he a draft dodger, though, Rob? Isn't he?
He was the commander-in-chief.
Yes or no? Wait.
Theryn, he's the commander-in-chief for 4 years. That's what this is about. So he or she is going to make that decision to send people in harm's way. Ike, let me end with this. Trump has closed strong, right? The McDonald's, the riding in the garbage truck, turning this around. His rallies continue to be big. Hers are big too now. So, I mean, she's bringing a lot of celebrities and pouncing on the top issues that voters matter, that matter to voters. So where do you see this at the end here?
Well, the economy affects everybody. That's why this race is, I believe, an advantage for Donald Trump, because there's pain in everybody's pocketbook, unless you're an elite, and then you're donating to Kamala Harris more than likely. And so this affects everybody's safety, affects everybody. Border security affects everyone. That's why I think there could be a large amount of women that are going to be quietly, secretly voting for Donald Trump this time because they're tired of being scared. And even though Kamala Harris runs ads that say, you don't have to tell your husband who you're voting for, it's okay, I think it actually could be the opposite of that. And so as we get down to it, there's nothing, I believe, that Kamala Harris can say or the fake outrage that the media can play that's going to counteract the fact that people are tired of being broke and they're tired of being vulnerable to violence. And I think that is why Donald Trump could win in a landslide, Rob. I mean, it could get crazy on Tuesday. And I hope we actually do know who wins very early on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think Theryn's right on this one. I don't think we're going to learn, because I think everyone's going to be hesitant to make those calls until early morning Wednesday or Wednesday afternoon. But Ike and Theryn, thanks for being with us. Always appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, a lot more to come. That means you must stay where you are.